Hello, shameless writers. I'm Kristen McTiernan, the nonsense-free editor, here for your, oh, please God, let this continue, your weekly dose of writing, and in this case, publishing wisdom. This week, we are going to be talking about ebook publishing. I did a whole video, I think, what was it? I think it was last month, maybe, where I did a video about only doing paperbacks. I said, look, this is a particular publishing model. You don't have to do this. Most people don't do this, but you can if you want to, because ebook pirates suck. You could just do paperbacks, and here's how you do it. So that's what I did. I put the video up. I was very proud of it, thought it went really well. And then, of course, we had some commenters who were not familiar with the lore and who didn't really clearly listen to a word I said. And they were like, well, what about seniors who rely on ebooks? You're denying us the ability to read. As if my video was stopping the publication of ebooks? I don't know. So there were a lot of commenters for that video who got really mad that ebooks might not exist. So this live stream is kind of designed to say that, yes, okay, ebooks are important. We're going to be talking about the statistics, who is reading ebooks, who basically is the target reader, if and when, because let's be honest, most self-published authors do publish ebooks along with everything else. Who's your target readership? Who's going to be reading your ebook versus your paperback? And most importantly, where should you publish your ebook? And I'm not talking about the retailers. I'm talking about the aggregators, because basically you could, and some people do this, go to each individual retailer. You can go to Barnes & Noble yourself and upload your book there. You can go directly to Ingram, upload your book there. There's a lot of places where you can do that. But not only is that a pain in the ass, and it is, because they each have their own little ways of doing things, their own little technical specifications, it's also harder on the back end. So like, for instance, doing your taxes. You're going to be getting a 1099 or a royalty statement from all of these individual places. You have to keep track of royalties from all of these individual places. It's a lot harder for you as the author. So that's why aggregators exist, and they're very, very helpful. Now, Draft2Digital is the big dog on campus. If you are a wide publisher, or you intend to be, you're not Amazon exclusive, chances are you use Draft2Digital. But it's not the only game in town. PublishDrive is also here, and they kind of do things differently. Is that good for you? And sometimes it's going to be yes, and sometimes it's going to be no. And me being the helpful person I am, I want to help you decide which one is right for you. So if you decide to go wide, if that's the model of publishing you want to do for your ebooks, you will have that information ahead of time, and you can make the best decision in order to maximize your profits, because that's why we're here. Yes, writing is art, but you know, we kind of want money too. All right. So getting started with the ebook landscape. Why sell ebooks? As you will see, all right, I think I've shown you guys this, but this is my Kobo e-reader, the Color Libra. It is the most superior device on the market. Yes, I'm still reading Hellbent. Don't you judge me. I've gone through several audiobooks, so that's been sitting on my player for a long time. But ebook reading is, I'm going to say, about 30 to 35%. Those were the figures in 2023. Most of the stats, you know, they stop at 2023, and they're estimating for 2024 since it only recently ended. Ebook sales have been growing steadily through 2023 with about an 8 to 10% rise every single year. Now in 2024, from what we can gather, ebook readership only increased another 3%. So that growth has slowed down. So that might be meaning that everyone who wants to be a fairly regular e-reader is already an e-reader. Or maybe that just means that there was a dip. We probably saw a spike with the pandemic, would be my guess. So that's entirely possible. So the key drivers to people who read exclusively or primarily ebooks, they tend to do it either on their phone or on a designated device. Phone readers, they're kind of their own animal. These people tend to be the most prolific readers, oddly enough. I hate reading on my phone. I don't know how anybody does it, but the people that do are your whale readers. They are all about reading, and that's how they spend the majority of their time. With the integration of eBooks into library systems, that's another big thing. So with the ebook piracy video and my irritation with it, part of my irritation was that, look, you can get ebooks from the library. It is free for you, but the author still gets paid. And then, of course, you have these idiots. Well, what about people who are not in America? It's like, bro, I can see where you're typing this from. You are in America. So yeah, very annoyed. But every single public library, or at least most of them in the US, I have no idea about Canada, but considering that the Kobo is a Canadian company and a Canadian device, and they have an inbuilt library app in their device, I'm going to assume this is true of Canada too. Most public library systems have ebooks available just to check out. You keep them for a while and then you turn them back in. After the pandemic and everybody was stuck at home, ebook readership shot up. It kind of stayed there. So that's good. And then, of course, subscription services like Kindle Unlimited and what is the Kobo one? Kobo Plus. This is very, very popular. We complain a lot about subscription services. Oh, everything's a subscription. That's so annoying. But they do tend to be popular with certain things, obviously TV and movies and ebooks. They're convenient for people who don't want to stockpile physical books, or if they read a lot of books very quickly and they can't keep up with it, because that can get expensive, especially since ebooks, a lot of times for TradPub, this is more TradPub than IndiePub. Tell me why they cost the same as the paperback. It's whatever. That is satanic. I dislike it. I disapprove traditional publishing. So in terms of the reading format preferences, no surprise, 65 to 70% of total book sales are print book. Now that could be paperback, that could be hardback, because most of the new releases, what they're pushing is the hardback. So ebooks are still a minority, 20, 25% of total book sales. But that's in general, that's all books sold. If you are a romance writer, for instance, hear me when I tell you that ebooks are going to be your bread and butter. And make sure be in Kindle Unlimited. Okay. Even if it's just for your first 90 days and then you go wide, you want to be in that Kindle Unlimited, because that's going to get your name out there. That's where the romance readers are. Sci-fi, weirdly enough, big ebook readers, or maybe it's not surprising because they are technology early adopters, and thrillers like police procedurals, that's got real heavy ebook readership. And again, it's that will reader aspect, because we can all watch 900 episodes of Law and Order SVU and never get sick of that shit. I don't know why. That's just who we are. That's who we are as people, and we need to accept that. When it comes to children's literature or kind of like workbooks, anything heavily illustrated, that falls off a cliff. All right. That is not the business for ebooks. So if you are doing even middle grade and it's like heavily illustrated, you're not going to be selling a lot of ebooks, if at all. So just keep that in mind. It's not ubiquitous. So make a decision based on what genres you write in as to whether you're going to be selling more ebooks or less ebooks. Sorry, I'm hopped up on caffeine. My dog decided that 4:30 was the time that she wanted to get up and eat. It was very important to her. And her nose could reach my face. So that was my morning. I'm very sleepy. So yeah, I tried this new flavor. This is not sponsored. It's actually kind of disgusting. I'm going to be real with you. Peach in carbonation that's not where I'm at. I'm going to go back to the white can, but I was trying to be adventurous. Okay. Demographics. This will not surprise you. The strongest adoption of ebooks is your 25 to 45 age range. Okay. So that's a big range. So it's not just the young people, it's also old farts like me. I primarily like ebooks because I like to throw it in my purse and run around with it. And I don't like to accumulate a lot of possessions. I feel smothered by possessions. That's just kind of what's going on in my life. Busy moms, people who are out and about, they like to have their books with them, and they don't necessarily want to carry hardbacks with them everywhere they go, especially romance readers, because they don't want like the public to see what they're reading. Covers aren't as risque now as they used to be, but anytime we see I don't know. I don't read that crap, but yes, we know what you're reading. We've heard of that title and we know what's in there. Was it Icebreakers? The one with the cartoon on the cover, but it was like so spicy. That's fun. That's fun that we're doing that. We're disguising porn as children's literature. I love self-publishing. Most active ebook readers consume 15 books a year or more. That means it's more than a book a month. Now, for me, I average about 20 books a year, but that's alternating with audiobooks and with ebooks. These are both digital mediums. I don't do print books. If I buy a print book, I don't know if you can see my shelf. These are books that I've already read. I liked them on ebook and I bought them on print book. And a lot of people do that as well. Ebooks tend to be cheaper. And so they buy them first. And if they like that, that same buyer will then go ahead and buy your paperback or your hardback. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, this one is my favorite. Ebooks in particular are more likely to be bought on impulse. Now, this is a double-edged sword. It's not necessarily a good thing. So you may have heard of Stuff Your Kindle. I think they do that in December, where all of the authors on Bookstagram and Book Talk get together and they're like, hey, it's Stuff Your Kindle week. My Kindle book is available for 99 cents or it's for free. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Kobo. Go and get it. And they'll drop a link and they'll get a lot of sales or they'll get a lot of downloads or reads on Kindle Unlimited. That doesn't necessarily translate to people reading your book and becoming a fan of yours. This is a double-edged sword in that people might pick your book up on impulse, but it will take them a while to read it. So maybe you'll get the sale, but then they won't read it until a year later. That could work for you because if they do like what you write, you've already got 4 more books out and then they'll continue to buy them. So just keep in mind that you might get more sales, but it doesn't necessarily translate to like that 1,000 true fans model, because we don't know that the person who's buying your ebook right this second on impulse, we don't know that they're going to read it anytime soon. So just keep that in mind. I've seen that quite a bit with ebook sales. They are very responsive to promotional pricing, and they are more likely to engage with a series or serial fiction. And that is because of the retailers. So with both Kindle and with Kobo, as you reach the end of book 1 of a series or book 2 of a series, they will automatically pull up, hey, this is the next book in the series. Do you want it? And if you like the book you just read, hell yes, you want it. Buy. Or, read if it's on one of the subscription programs. It's so easy just to hit a button. You've already got a credit card on file. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Whereas with a paperback, you have to go back to the retailer. You might have to enter your credit card or maybe even go to a physical bookstore. Ugh, heaven forfend. You're not catching me out of this house. I like to buy everything on my phone. So with all that in mind, why should you use ebook aggregators? There are a lot of benefits. And, just to be thorough, I wanted to see if there were any downsides, if there were any ways that you are punished in terms of using an aggregator. Full disclosure, there's only one, and that is money, in that you pay a percentage to the retailer. And in some cases, such as in the case of Draft2Digital, you also pay a percentage to the aggregator. So your royalty is lower with using an aggregator. That is the only downside. It might be a big downside for you, or it might be a small downside depending on your business model. But that is the only one that I could find. If you have experimented with aggregator versus going directly to the retailer, and there's another downside that you found, please feel free to drop it in the comments or in the chat. I would love to hear about that. But from my experience and from my clients, the percentage is really the only one that we found. When you're using an aggregator, you have one dashboard. You are able to see all of your sales from every single place that your book is for sale. You have a wider distribution reach. So if you're in the United States, we don't have Waterstones here. Waterstones is massive in the UK. It is huge. It's like their version of Barnes and Noble. If you use an aggregator, your book can be available in Waterstones. And I think they have that in Australia as well. Maybe Canada, I'm not sure, but it's huge in the UK. So keep that in mind. Simplified accounting. When tax time comes, you just have one statement to download. Okay, awesome. Here's all the royalties I got from all of the retailers that sell my book. Easy. Easy is good, particularly when you are, an authorpreneur and you're doing your own taxes because you're poor, hypothetically speaking. Depending on the aggregator you use, and we'll get into this in a second, you might have professional formatting services for your ebook right there with the aggregator. Draft2Digital specifically does this. It saves you a lot of time. You don't have to hire somebody like me to do your ebook formatting. You still have to format your paperback. I want to say that very clearly, but you won't have to with your ebook. It just makes it so much easier. VAT requirements for the EU countries, they have something called VAT, and it can be challenging to calculate it, especially here in the US. We don't have it, and you have to be like a payer of record or some complicated nonsense. So you want to make sure that whoever's handling your money is VAT authorized, like they calculate it for you. And then just the payment consolidation. You get one monthly paycheck. That's it. You don't have to worry about 17 of them trickling in for like $27 here, $35 here. It's all together. And that way, if there are any payment processor fees, because of course there are, they'll be smaller because it's one lump sum. All right. So now we're going to get to the good stuff. We are going to be comparing two aggregators, Draft2Digital, which is kind of the OG in this situation, and PublishDrive, which is new. And for heaven's sakes, no, I had brought this up before. So hold on, bear with me. There we go. Yay. Okay. So this is just a brief table that goes through all of it. Let me make that bigger. Hold on. There we go. All right. So we're going to start with the upfront cost. Most aggregators kind of model KDP because KDP is very user-friendly. That's part of the appeal. We love to sell our books through Amazon because it's easy. They have a good interface. It's very author-friendly. You don't have to be super techie about it. And it's free to upload. And when you're dealing with Draft2Digital, it is free to upload. PublishDrive is different. They do start with a free trial, and then it's $9.99 a month. Now, some authors may see that, and that might be enough. And they'd be like, oh, well, why would I do that? Why would I pay when I can get it for free? Bear with me. There is no commission. Keep that in mind with PublishDrive. What you pay per month is a flat fee, which means you're not getting nickel and dimed for every sale that you get. That's an important distinction. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, no one really cares about the book formats. All right. If you are still using doc, like DOC, like the old style of Microsoft Word, stop doing that. Stop doing that this instant. Okay. Level up to DocX, for God's sakes. PublishDrive only uses EPUB and DocX. It does not allow you to do the old style. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't even know why Draft2Digital allows you to have the old one. I don't know. Maybe people don't want to upgrade to Microsoft 365. I'm not sure why they have that old thing. But for me, whatever. There's only really two formats you should be working with. Now, when we get to the commission, Draft2Digital takes 15%. All right. So for every sale you get, Draft2Digital is taking 15%. So if Amazon is taking 20% and they're taking 15%, that's quite a little bit from your book sales, yeah? PublishDrive takes no commission because you've already paid $9.95 or $9.99. Now with the distribution networks, and this is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it's not important because depending on what country that you largely sell to, depending on what country you live in, having a much larger library here for PublishDrive might make the difference for you. Being available more places is good. This is a combination of retailers like Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Apple Books, and some of them are subscription, such as Everand. Overdrive is a library app. And yeah, so Tolino, I think, is a subscription app as well. So we kind of have a combination. Indiebook.com is a newcomer, and it is specific, as the title would say. It's specifically for indies. And so I actually like that PublishDrive has them. So I don't think that having more is necessarily a good thing, because the majority of your sales, no matter what kind of book you do, they're all going to come from Amazon. Not all, but most. Most are going to come from Amazon. Kobo is another big player. Barnes and Noble is another big player. And Waterstones, if you're in the UK or if you sell to the UK, is a big player. The rest of them are much smaller. Even the library, like I said, a lot of people don't take advantage of the library ebook system in ways that they should. Unfortunately, I wish that more people would, because, I don't know about you, but all of my books are available in libraries. So I don't ever want to hear any complaints about they're too expensive. ISBN. That's not a big thing, kind of, but with eBooks, you don't generally have to buy one. So with Draft2Digital, they will issue you one. If you upload to Amazon directly, they will give you an ASIN, which you don't need to have an ISBN. However, with PublishDrive, you will need to have your own ISBN. They're not going to issue you any kind of a number. They're not going to work with the retailers and get you a number from them. So you are going to have to, if you're in the US, go to Bowker and buy, I recommend, a block of 10 ISBNs, because that's more bang for your buck. So I would recommend doing that. It's not a big thing, but it's another cost. So it's another upfront cost specifically. So you might be seeing a theme here. And that theme is who Draft2Digital is targeting versus which authors PublishDrive is targeting. And especially when we come down here to the extras. So these extras, they matter, okay? I'm not going to say that they don't, but they're targeting different people. So you have the universal book links with books to read, kind of like Draft2Digital. And you get a really beautiful author page with all of your, it's kind of like your own personal website. And you get a universal book link. So one link will bring your reader to that book's page, and they can decide what retailer they would like to purchase from. So that's really handy that Draft2Digital does that. They have the lovely dashboard. They have a coupon generator, and they have, very clear splits with distributors. But one thing they don't have that PublishDrive does is an advanced marketing features, and specifically it links directly with Amazon marketing. So as you can tell, one of these is kind of going towards authors who might be newer to the game. They don't have a lot of money to spend up front, and any money they do have, they've already given it to editors and cover illustrators and everything like that, while PublishDrive is more targeting people who are selling enough per month that they're getting real sick and tired of seeing all of those 15%, the 30%. Come on, stop nickel and diming every single book sale I have. Can I just pay a flat fee? And PublishDrive answers, yes, actually, you can. So they both do the same thing, air quotes, but they're targeting different kinds of authors with different needs. And that's a good thing. So this is some of the things that PublishDrive has, just kind of for us to show people. These are their big distributors, Target being one that Draft2Digital does not have. So they have more distributors. They get you in more stores. Obviously, this is eBooks, so you're not going to be on shelves. And they also have the sales dashboard and the marketing dashboard. So you can keep track of your marketing, specifically your Amazon ads, right here on the dashboard. And this is pretty fabulous. I think, let me squint. Yeah, okay, so they also link with Rakuten Kobo. If you didn't know, Kobo blended with the Japanese company, an e-retailer called Rakuten. So technically the brand name is Rakuten Kobo, but that's a mouthful. So we just call the e-readers Kobo. So this is very user-friendly. I do not use PublishDrive myself. Frankly, I don't sell enough books where this would be the best option for me. But I can see very clearly that, if I go viral, people are like, oh, I have to buy her paranormal shit. And suddenly I'm selling a lot of books. Those fees might really start to hurt with Draft2Digital, to the point where the pretty author page doesn't make as much of a difference anymore, and it might be worth my time to skip on over to PublishDrive. I'm not there, but that is a possibility for several authors. Now, I've only heard of PublishDrive through, frankly, YouTubers. I haven't seen a lot of stuff about them in the trades, with the news of, self-published authors. Maybe I'm not tracking them closely enough, but there are a lot of authors out there who could really benefit from this company who probably haven't heard of them. So I do want to rectify that today. They have advertising credits as well, and I think they have universal links. So that is handy, but I will tell you from the universal links that I've seen from PublishDrive, they're nowhere near as handy as the ones that we have from Draft2Digital. And if you didn't know, Draft2Digital has merged with Smashwords. Smashwords was kind of the ebook OG from the self-publishing days, way back in the day. Before KDP really took off as the market leader, Smashwords was where you went, and that was definitely, I think you had to do your paperback through Smashwords in order to sell it on Amazon. That was way back in 2008, aging myself here. So yeah, they've now merged with Draft2Digital. And my friend Rachel Ellen is doing gangbusters selling erotic shorts on Smashwords. So, if that's kind of what you write in, and she's not even advertising, they're just selling. So good for her. So that's something to keep in mind. So this is what it looks like when you have, your ebook, and you can either manually add the link like this, or when you upload your book directly into Draft2Digital, these will populate without you needing to do anything. It takes about 2 days or so, but it's actually very handy and it's very easy. And it also auto-populates your author page and your universal link page. All you have to do is copy the link and then put it on your social media or send it to your newsletter people or whatever you need to do there. So Draft2Digital is very good if you're just starting out of the gate. You don't have a lot of money up front. You've already spent it on, your editing and your marketing. Marketing is very important, perhaps even more important than the editing from what I've seen of bestsellers these days. And you just don't have, you can't stand the thought of another monthly bill, and you're not quite sure how your, promotions are going to pan out. So if you're going wide straight out the gate and you want to use an aggregator, my recommendation would be just, until you get going. Draft2Digital is very beginner friendly. However, if you've got a couple of books under your belt, if you have steady sales with or without marketing, if you sell enough of your backlist from your newsletter engagement, PublishDrive might be something you want to consider. It might work better for you. So you're not necessarily stuck in one aggregator just because you've always been there. You can move if you feel the need to, if it works better for you. So keep that in mind as you go. Marketing in particular. All right. I'm not going to say that Amazon ads don't work. They have in the past. But from what I've been seeing, and it's not new, I'm going to say the last 6 months to a year, even seasoned authors where the algorithm is very kind to them, Amazon ads have not been producing like they once did. And no one really seems to know why. So they will still get you some clicks. They will still get you some sales, but it's not as much bang for your buck. Facebook ads had a slump there, but I don't want to say that Kobo is like the hotness right now, because it's not. It's still only about 30% of the market. It's definitely not anywhere near like active competition for Amazon. But they are rising. And part of this is anti-Amazon monopoly sentiment. Some of it is because their devices are, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, superior to the ebook devices of Amazon. They're growing. They're more popular. And as such, their ads are doing better. And people who try Kobo tend to like it, and they tend to stay. That being said, because it's a Canadian company, this is important. Their ebooks tend to be more expensive. They don't have the money to subsidize and cut rates like Amazon does. So a lot of times an ebook on Kobo is going to be more expensive than than that same ebook on Amazon. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at different services. or where you want to advertise, particularly if you're doing something through, for say, written media, or no, it's written word, because they offer a lot of promotions and they have all those big newsletters that they send out the newsletter blast to. If you're putting something on sale across the board, you will find that you get more sales from Kobo in relation to the number of sales you normally get when you send out one of those promotions, simply because the books are more expensive on Kobo. So when they see those 99-cent deals, oh, they're so excited. They're going to scoop them up. They're going to be voracious. You're going to make the Kobo readers very happy just because they're accustomed to paying more. So that's something to consider. Written word media, if you're looking for marketing, that's who I generally use. They have a lot of package deals, and so they'll get you Amazon ads, they'll get you Facebook ads at the same time, and it just takes, one click from you. So in terms of aggregators, I have the links in the descriptions for both Draft2Digital and PublishDrive. So you can check them both out, see if one or the other resonates more with you. I will say that if you're primarily doing eBooks, it's basically just a matter of which one will allow you to bring home more royalties. But if you're also looking for a new home for paperback and audiobook distribution, Draft2Digital might be what you want to do. And that's simply because Draft2Digital is in partnership with Findaway Voices. So you can produce your audiobook directly through Draft2Digital. And then they are also in partnership with Ingram. So you don't have to deal with the horrific, awful interface of Ingram Spark for a paperback. I believe if you want a jacketed hardback, you still have to go through Ingram Spark, which is the devil. It is the devil sent straight from the mouth of hell. And I will never not wait in joyful hope that Amazon will give us a jacketed cover or some other aggregator will, because Ingram should burn to the ground. I hate them so much. So that is all that I have. What a lovely note to end on also. It's like, I wish Ingram would burn to the ground. Please don't clip that and send that to them. Although I did nuke my account because I was so angry at their horrificness. And yes, Glenna, she wrote the comment, love the idea of not having to deal with Ingram. We all love that. I've never heard a single person say, I love Ingram so much. They're so easy. No, they're the devil. They're evil. So we all hope for that one day we can have that. And whether that's Draft2Digital, whether that's Amazon, let us hope for jacketed hardbacks through someone else, because they're awful. So that is all that I have regarding ebook aggregators. The ending message would be that, yes, aggregators are important. And there's something that you need to, consider. You don't have to use them, obviously, but you should consider it. So that's all I have for this week. I hope all of you take care, write well, and tune in right here at this time on this day next week. And I don't know what I'll be talking about yet, but we can find out together.
And Kirsten,
true.
she's an editor, also a vet. But that's the thing too. I got a soft spot for vets. Yeah, she's a book editor, and she's pretty good at it. I met her through Allie. She was an Air Force vet.
What did you say?
She's like basically your tomboy little sister. It's absolutely great. And she's actually good at what she does, which I think makes a huge difference.
Cool. She could stay.
I expect and demand your very best. Anything less, you should have joined the Air Force.